And welcome back in for another episode of the Ball Boys podcast. Took a little week break there, some scheduling conflicts, and it's the middle of summer. Not a lot of sports going on right now. If you guys peep the shirt, it says I am Queens Boulevard. We're just 2 days removed from the 19-year anniversary of the show Entourage, so fun fact there for you to start off this show, but got a pretty solid jam-packed show. We are talking Shohei Ohtani again, so all the haters out there,
Yeah.
welcome back, welcome back. But it's a little bit later in the show. We got a lot of NFL talk. DeAndre Hopkins, we speculated where he would go 2 weeks ago. He has since been moved to the Tennessee Titans, and that's where we're going to start today. And the flat-out question is, Nolan, do you think that this makes the Titans a playoff contender? Because I won't say Super Bowl because, it's an obvious no. But do you have the Titans now as potentially a wild card team?
So I'm a big Titans hater, especially Ryan Tannehill hater. I've never really found him as a serviceable quarterback. So I mean, you got Derrick Henry, you got Vrabel, which I think he's a great coach. But you bring in Hopkins, does that really move the needle? You have the Jaguars, which I think are beyond better than them in the division. Then you add the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins. That's at least 7 to 8 teams.
Yeah, and
I
you didn't
probably
even say
forgot two
Chargers
others.
or Broncos or
Exactly. I probably
Browns.
forget. That's 10 plus teams right there, and I think they're all better than the Titans on this day. So I mean, I get the move for Hopkins. He got his money, but for the actual Titans team, I just don't see it really panning out to success.
Yeah, when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins, I don't have any problem with the move to chase the bag. It's kind of the exact opposite of what he claimed he was looking for, which makes me think the market for him just wasn't there,
Yeah,
which is kind
probably.
of sad. But for the Titans, I actually view them as a potential wild card team. And here's why. You mentioned great coach, Mike Vrabel. Coaching matters in the NFL. It's a core group of guys that have been together. And this is a team that, with this core group of guys, with A.J. Brown and not DeAndre Hopkins, we've saw be the number one seed. So I'm not predicting number one seed, obviously, but could they sneak in as the seventh wild card team? We know injuries are going to happen. I actually really like their defensive line. They have Simmons. They have some good outside rushers. I think they're an underrated defense. And the reason that I think the Hopkins addition is so big for them is because whether it's Tannehill, Levis, Willis, getting one of those quarterbacks, an established wide receiver one, is so huge. But it opens up things for everybody. Now for Treylon Burks, he could exceed in a wide receiver two role. I'm not saying it's the exact same, but we saw for the Eagles, when A.J. Brown was brought in, Devonta Smith just looked so much more crisp in that wide receiver two role because he is a fringe wide receiver one, or at least he was at the start of last year. I think now he's fully established himself as a top 30 guy in the NFL. But Treylon Burks, a fringe guy, now gets to go against the corner too. Now the coverage isn't against him. Derrick Henry, this will open up things for him. You can't just fully stack the box. Chiggy Okonkwo, I do think it opens things up for the Titans offense. Now their offensive line still isn't good, which is, you win in the trenches in the NFL. They have a good D-line, not a good O-line. Ryan Tannehill, for everything you mentioned, he has his problems, but he is a game manager. He seemed to lose it a little bit last year, so we'll see if that decline continues. But for me, I think that this move was a good one for the Titans, and I really like the 2-year contract because Will Levis or Malik Willis will be starting for this team next year. Having them have DeAndre Hopkins to help develop is so key, and it's what Patriots fans were clamoring for and why they wanted him. They didn't think that they were going to be the Super Bowl champions. But let's see what we got with Mac Jones by getting him a wide
Yep.
receiver one. If they didn't do that, the Titans bringing in Hopkins, they'd be in the same spot as the Patriots, where it's like, do we know if this quarterback's good or not? Because he doesn't have any weapons. So I think it's a great move for the Titans. Hopkins extend his career, get a bag. I would have rather seen him on a contender. We talked about this. Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, where he's just in meaningful games. And it really sucks that this is a guy that it feels like at this point now we're never going to see on that big stage. And if we do, it'll be a shell of his former self. But, overall, you can't hate it too much on DeAndre Hopkins. But I do think the Titans could be a wild card team here. Now, some big news for you, personally. Lionel Messi down in Florida now, playing for Miami, their MLS team. You were there at his introduction. Why don't you walk us through just how big it felt?
Yeah, so I've never been to an Inter Miami game before this, obviously. And the last time I was at that stadium was for the NFL Pro Bowl practice when the Pro Bowl was in Miami. So probably like 2011. So
Yeah,
12 years or so, I think it was about that. So I went there and it was just surreal, bro. Like the whole atmosphere, it was like tailgating times 10 plus like the Latin effect. They had like all these messy signs and face logos and just dancing and barbecuing and just it was crazy.
yeah.
And it's surreal because I think the stadium holds I know it holds less than 20,000, but I want to say like it's in like the 17,000s, so it's not a lot of people that you could really fit in there, but the parking lots and everything, like the people selling stuff, it was just insane. So that was really cool. And then once we got inside, they had like a huge concert. There's a lot of rain going on, so that kind of buzzed
Yeah.
the kill a little bit. But the whole event was super sick, and just where I was sitting, I was pretty close. I was on the goal line side, so there's a lot of rowdy people
I
and
believe you
just
put pictures on Twitter, right?
yeah.
If I
So the
remember, I'll grab the screenshots and throw them up for the viewers.
Yeah, so it was super sick. Like they had flags, obviously, just like drinking, and the music was awesome, and they had an introduction. They had David Beckham, obviously he was there.
Hmm.
And then once Messi came out, it was just like it was crazy. Like the whole stadium was just
Messi came out
chanting.
to little baby.
It was
I
that I did not expect that at
don't think
all.
anybody did. Do
I
you
was
think
I
you
was
think Messi picked that, or you think that was kind of pre-selected
um
for him?
I looked online and that song was on the World Cup track list.
Oh, so maybe he liked it.
So maybe, yeah, maybe he's
Maybe
got
hearing
little
it all the
baby on his
time.
plate. Maybe,
Maybe
yeah,
he's
maybe
becoming Americanized little baby. Well, he's at
exactly,
Publix down there, right?
exactly.
Getting
Publix, little
Kellogg's
baby.
cereals.
Yeah, yeah. In a couple weeks, you don't know what'll happen.
In a couple weeks, you won't be able to go to Publix anymore.
No,
But
no shot.
enjoyed it while he could.
Yeah,
This is huge for MLS. I mean, what you're describing sounds like an NFL tailgate, which
yep,
for a lot of NFL fans that watch this podcast sounds normal, but for MLS games to be pulling an NFL level tailgate, an NFL level filling of the arena, that is huge. That is not something that happens. This could lead to ML. Like everybody's going to want to have this on TV now.
hmm
Fox, CBS, like they want Messi on TV. Obviously it's not going to pull the same numbers as the World Cup, but everybody was tuning into the World Cup wanting to see Messi get it done. Messi is a superstar that'll bring eyes to his screen that the MLS desperately needed. And if this trend continues, the MLS, we talked about it, it'll pass the NHL. It'll become America's fourth most popular sport. And I wouldn't be shocked if it passes baseball, to be
yep,
honest, and became the third most. The NBA and the NFL, I mean, that's a tall, tall climb. But, there's a reason that soccer's the world's most popular sport. And if, a Ronaldo were to go play for Red Bull in New York, I mean, like, I don't think it happens, but my point being, like, if you
yeah,
got
it's
another
crazy.
superstar, it only takes a couple to really catapult
hmm
this thing off. And Messi's probably the biggest name in the game. And the MLS got him. So this is huge for soccer. I'm going to be tuning in, as of recording. The game's coming out. The first game's today for you guys if you're watching on Friday. For us, it's tomorrow. I'll be trying to watch. You'll be watching. And otherwise, we wouldn't. If Messi wasn't playing, like, Miami's MLS game isn't circled on my calendar.
hmm
But now tomorrow it is. So that's a really, really exciting for the sports world and for MLS. Now we got to talk about some Madden ratings. The Madden ratings dropped. We're in full mid-July summer when the third segment on the show is Madden. But hey, this is what's happening right now in the sports world. I put out a full video on my personal channel, so if you want to see all my thoughts, check it there. But I want to ask you, biggest underratement of a player and like biggest problem overall that you have with ratings. Let's start with the negative.
So my biggest pet peeve, I would say, would be that I saw Dallas Goddard wasn't a 90. At least a 90. I
Yeah.
think he's at least a 90, bro. Like he's been balling. He's getting that really publicity now that he's in the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
He was on, I think,
He made
a
that
bar.
really nice catch there in the Super Bowl too.
He was making awesome plays, bro.
I mean,
And I
like as
think,
Eagles fans know, we know he was always making plays
yeah,
on third downs and stuff. But in the Super Bowl, it was big stage, and he
hmm
continued to do it.
yeah. So I think the fact that he wasn't at least a 90 kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. But other than that, I mean, nothing was too outlandish. I don't think.
Oh, you're
Um,
forgetting something.
am I?
So we're talking Philly, so I'll keep it going. The fact that AJ Brown's a 91
Oh,
and
yo,
Terry McLaurin's a 92. Are you kidding me? On what
yeah.
level is AJ
That
Brown
was ridiculous.
lower than Terry McLaurin? First off, 91's too low for AJ. 92 for Terry. Like, he is one of the most underrated, underappreciated wide receivers in the NFL because he's had nothing but dumpster fire at quarterback, which, like, I feel bad for Terry. But you look at the stats, you look at the player, you were just a GM of a team. You're picking AJ Brown 10 times out of 10 over Terry McLaurin. So in what world is this guy higher than, like, the disrespect for AJ Brown is crazy. The
And
Dallas Goedert
and
thing didn't bother me too much, but the AJ Brown one was
and I think
ridiculous.
Hopkins was rated above AJ Brown, which I get. Hopkins is good, but AJ Brown had a way better year last year.
Yeah, so we could talk about that because a way better year thing, I actually don't think that your Madden rating should jump drastically based off of one good year, which is why I have a problem with Justin Jefferson being a 99. Justin Jefferson was really good, the best wide receiver stats-wise in the NFL last year. However, Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams have been doing this, man. This guy doesn't even have to work for it. And you know why he doesn't have to work for it. Because he's got the superstar in him. The gritty, the grill, the personality, the fandom, the number one pick in fantasy football drafts. That is the only reason he's a 99. And it proves my point because they don't do this for anybody else but Jefferson. AJ Brown has a career year, 91, below Terry McLaurin. You have Sauce Gardner, who people are saying is the best corner in football. He's a 93, and Jalen Ramsey, who sucked last year per his standards, is the number one corner at a 97 because of legacy, which again, fine, so be it. Mark Andrews is a 95, even though he had a down year, which again, is a good thing because we know Mark Andrews is good. But for Justin Jefferson to just be 99 is just insane to me. And I said this in my video. If you want to have Justin Jefferson on the same level as Tyreek and Adams, cool. Make all three of them 98s. None of them fully earned a 99 last year because it shouldn't be off of 1 year. Now, you do it for 2 years, cool. I'm cool with it. But look at all the other 99s, what it took for them to get there. Travis Kelce. I mean, he's maybe the best tight end of all time, coming off his best season ever. Zach Martin just got to 99, and he's been the best guard in football for the better half of a decade. Who else is a 99? Aaron Donald might be the greatest defensive tackle of all time. And now Justin Jefferson off of 1 good year. And it was a great year. But Cooper Kupp didn't even get a 99, and he had the Triple Crown. So what are we doing here? Like, it's just a publicity stunt. And, if you disagree and you think that 1 year was good enough, and then, you have at it, I'll let you respond.
I mean, bro, it's Jetta, bro.
That can't be the argument. That cannot be the argument. It's Justin Jefferson, bro.
Look, you look at Justin Jefferson, like you said, he has all the stuff you want in a superstar, right? But he balled out last year. And the year before, he did the same thing. And tell me if I'm wrong, but he probably will do the same thing this year, correct?
I don't know.
If he doesn't get hurt.
Do I think he'll be a good wide receiver again this year? Absolutely. Is he going to push 2,000 receiving yards? I don't know. Hawkinson will be there the full year. They have Jordan Addison. Who knows? I don't know.
So based off what you're saying, would you not take Jetta at the first pick?
In a fantasy draft?
Yeah.
Well, if we're playing a probability game, and I would take him personally. But I would take him personally because the other option is McCaffrey, who has injury concern.
Fair.
For Jefferson, he plays at a position that there's not a lot of injury, and he is going to be a dominant target. So in terms of fantasy football, you know, for the Dolphins, I have to think about, is Tua going to be hurt? For Devontae Adams, I have to think about, it's Jimmy Garoppolo throwing this guy the ball. Like, he's ass. Like, so
Oh,
for me, it's between Jefferson and Chase. And with Jamar, there's, T. Higgins, who's a top 20 wide receiver. Tyler Boyd, who's probably better than Jordan Addison is right now. So a lot of mouths to feed in Cincinnati. So I don't know if, like, I think it's fair if I said Jefferson doesn't deserve to be in the top echelon of receivers for that argument. But to say, like, oh, he has to be a 99 because I'd pick him first, like that, I don't know. Like,
so in order to be a 99, you said you have to like really put on for.
you just gotta prove it for over 2 years at least.
So
for
2
me.
years, you'd say 2 years is like.
Yeah, if he does it again, I won't complain about the 99.
Okay.
But I just like Josh Gordon led the NFL in receiving yards once upon a time.
Yeah.
So should he have been a 99 the next year? I don't think he was. So. And, like, look what happened. And again, like, yeah, I've said this before, but I'm not projecting Justin Jefferson to go on a Josh Gordon trajectory. Obviously, there was off-the-field issues as well. But, like, I don't know. It's just bothersome. And I'm waiting on these quarterback ratings, man, because for a fact, I mean, we know Mahomes will be a 99. If Mahomes isn't a 99 and Jefferson is, another rant will be inbound for sure. But they're going to put Josh Allen over Joe Burrow. They have to, because they put him on the cover.
Yeah.
But nobody in their right mind would. And I've seen, it's been a narrative on TikTok. It's been pushed. Josh Allen over Joe Burrow. It's becoming a popular argument. Joe Burrow doesn't have the tools of the athleticism and size. What has that gotten him?
Yeah,
two turnovers and like a 30 QBR in the divisional round.
Yeah, that was.
And the disrespect that's coming to Jalen Hurts, I already know it. I watched him do it to AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert, and we watched him do it to Jason Kelsey, the best center in football for how many years? 92. Are you kidding me? Guy can't even get it a 95.
Yeah.
No, I Madden disrespect to the Eagles.
I do think Hurts will get a decent rating, though. I think because
I guarantee you, Jalen Hurts is a 93 or lower.
I was gonna say like 95.
Guarantee you, he's 93 or lower. Wouldn't be shocked if he's an 89 with this game. And that you know what the argument people are gonna use is? Well, he only did it for 1 year, and I'm gonna lose my mind because Justin Jefferson's a 99. And you guys watch. When Jalen Hurts is rated lower than a 95, I won't complain. He only did do it for 1 year. I won't complain that that's his rating. I'll complain it's his rating because of Madden standards of Jefferson gets to be a 99. If that's the case, then Jalen Hurts had damn sure better be a 94 plus.
Facts.
At least be consistent with your logic, but they've already been hating on the Eagles. Did you see the ratings for the Eagles defensive linemen too?
No.
Hassan Reddick 90, and then nobody else over an 84.
Oh, okay. Hey, it's all good. We'll
PFF's number one ranked defensive line only has one good player apparently. Get Madden. You guys are Cowboys fans. That's what I'm hearing.
I wouldn't put it past
that's what I'm hearing. A lot of Cowboys fans working at Madden. But sticking with some NFL stuff, you tweeted this out earlier about the new NFL jersey drops. You've been all over this on Twitter. Great Twitter follow for sure. You're out there hustling, grinding every day on the Twitter. Not me, but still out there working.
You're on the Twitter. You're on the TikTok, YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to go through some of these jerseys. I'll try and, if I remember, flash them up on the screen. The Seattle blue and silver, clean, super clean. Out of 10, it's got to be 9 or 10. I mean, it
reminds me of. I tweeted it. It reminds me of a NFL Blitz.
Yeah, it's top tier.
Same exact jerseys.
It is top tier. I mean, the jersey looks like Gatorade in the best way possible.
And the funny part is we didn't use that for the draft.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it. I mean, these are throwbacks.
Yeah.
The Browns all white. As a standalone jersey, it's all right. It's like 7 or 8. I think it's good for their rotation though.
No, it's a good addition. I agree.
Yeah.
Like an 8.
Yeah,
in that.
we know how I feel about those Bucks creamsicle jerseys. I mean, there's just nothing like them in the
Yeah.
NFL with like the orange face mask too on the picture.
Mhm.
It's just those are absolutely gross. 10 out of 10s obviously from our draft.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a shame, like you said, Brady never got to wear that.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it'd be an easy cop.
yeah, for sure. I don't know. I mean, you're a big Penn State guy. Maybe you get the Chris Godwin one.
Oh yeah,
But
maybe,
those
maybe.
Vikings jerseys, not very different, but
Mm.
super clean. I love like the
No, there's.
matte purple on the
Mhm,
helmet and the tweak that they made to the yellow to like
mhm.
really bold. I think those are clean. Absolutely clean as hell. So I know you have a negative opinion on this Colts one based on your tweet. I'm just wondering where it stems from, really, like the negativity on it. Is it I've seen a lot of people complaining about the black helmet. Is that what like does it for you?
I think so. It reminds me of just like a kid in Madden created this team, and like that's what he did. Like it just doesn't look like official enough, and it's the color matching and just all that doesn't flow right.
Yeah, I mean, like the helmet by itself, I like, and the jersey by itself, I like. But together something does feel off about it.
Yeah,
Like it almost feels like the jersey should be black with
yeah,
the blue stripes and the number is white.
yeah.
I'm
I could
like
see what
trying
that
to
means.
picture it in my head and like see if it would work out, but just something feels a little off. I don't hate it to the extent that you did on Twitter. I'll probably throw that tweet up there too because you were literally shitting all over it. But yeah, that's got to be the worst one. And you know, of course, the Eagles bring back the Kelly Greens this year. Can't
Oh, I
not bring that up.
cannot.
But
That I haven't purchased an Eagles jersey in probably 10 plus years because I mean, I don't really care for
it's
jerseys.
gotta be Jalen Hurts. It's
But this year, yeah, yeah,
gotta be the
I
number
do,
one.
I do love AJ Brown.
I mean,
If I need
they're both
my,
extended.
yeah,
The worry that I have with getting jerseys is I always check what the guy's contract is.
yeah,
Like I got a
yeah,
win, I got, but like sometimes that doesn't always work out. So I got like a Wentz shirt,
mm,
and then like it all went to hell.
yeah.
And he was under contract.
I got I got a Namdi Asmugwa jersey, and that lasted like a year if I was lucky.
But like he was still such a good player that like
Yeah,
that in like a throwback collection still like carries. I have the worst jersey luck ever. So like I'm a huge LeBron guy, so I get all the LeBron jerseys and like that's just what it is. But anything like that I get outside of a LeBron jersey, it's
mm,
the worst luck ever that follows. I had the Carson Wentz
mm,
shirt, like shirt, jersey or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't buying jerseys at that point.
yeah,
Um, Obviously we know what happened there. The next year, like he's just ass, and then we end up trading him, and yeah, it was bad. I got a Kyrie Irving Cavs shirt. They lose to the Warriors in the finals that year, and then he goes to Boston the
yeah.
same year. I cursed it. And then the worst of all, the biggest catastrophe I had. I bought a Ben Simmons jersey, and then in the playoffs that year versus the Hawks, it all went to. I'm a jersey curse.
So,
So like, I almost don't want to buy a Jalen Hurts
I was
jersey.
about to say that, like, maybe you shouldn't,
Maybe I'll buy like a Dak Prescott one for the
or get like
team.
a Jason Kelsey. Like I don't think anything crazy. Like he'll retire and then like that's it. Like
Yeah,
it's a good,
it's a curse. I should start getting like nameless jerseys.
yeah.
Like
I do it for baseball.
just like a yeah, I'm a Yankees fan, so it's
Hmm. Yeah,
like kind of part of the thing where it's like
yeah.
you have to not get a name on it. But I got a Jeter one. Fuck that.
Mm.
Number two is for number two. Well,
Hey,
it's
I
retired
respect them.
now, so it's only for number two now.
Yeah,
But
no, I respect them.
yeah, for sure. Speaking of baseball, last 2 weeks ago now on the pod, we discussed a little Shohei Ohtani. It's probably our biggest clip ever. 250 views. 250 views of hate came my way. I slipped up a little bit in my little rant of players that were like super good and GOAT status. in talking about like World Series, I threw like Barry Bonds in there and he had never won one. And like somebody picked up on that and was like, this guy said Tawny can't be the GOAT, but And so just a quick like last point that nobody seemed to acknowledge in the comment section. My point was, so baseball players get a pass a lot because you can only play one position traditionally. So you can't really do it like have an effect on the team. But since Ohtani can play too, like he should be held to the standard then of like he's got a larger percentage of the pie of what he does for the team. He's one of the 9 batting spots, and he's one of the 9 fielding spots. And he's the most important position, the pitcher. So, like, what he can contribute to a win is way more than Aaron Judge on any day that he pitches. Aaron Judge could go 4 for 4 with 4 home runs. And if Ohtani had the same day 4 for 4 with 4 home runs, he still has whatever his pitching line was. And like Aaron Judge could never do that. So my point was, Ohtani needs to win something to be the GOAT because of how much he can contribute to winning. And he's a free agent, so he's able to put himself in the position this summer to win. So that brings us to now. And Shohei Ohtani is on the trade block, apparently. The Angels are taking offers. A lot of reports have been coming out talking about the Angels taking offers. It feels to me like a trade is going to happen. Because where there's smoke, there's fire. So a lot of smoke on the Ohtani trade front. The problem that I have with building a Shohei Ohtani trade is who is going to trade for him. Because we go through, you know, if you're going to trade him, the hope is to extend him, obviously. If it's a 2-month rental, like, you have to be sure that you're, like, in World Series contention. And if we go through the World Series contenders right now, you know, the Braves, I don't think that they're trading for Ohtani. You could say the Phillies, maybe, but now Andrew Painter needs Tommy John. That was probably their biggest trade asset to go get an Ohtani. I don't think it happens. I don't really see anybody in the NL Central as a World Series contender. I love what the Reds are doing, but you know he's not staying in Cincinnati, and that'd be like an awfully big gamble for what you'd have to give up. The Dodgers are the betting favorite, but do you see the Angels trading Shohei Ohtani to cross town? I mean, it would have to be a haul, right? Like there would be a Dodgers tax. In the NBA, there's a Lakers tax. There would be a Dodgers tax on this deal. You know, then we start talking about the Diamondbacks and the Giants. The Giants are an interesting one. They're right there on the wild card, and we know that they want to be spenders. They tried to get Aaron Judge, tried to get Carlos Correa, so they're willing to pay. It's on the West Coast. It's still in California, so they're a team that I think is to look out for. Then, you know, we talked about World Series contenders, big market team, the Mets. You know, you laugh, but the Mets would be a potential trade destination.
No, for sure.
But for me, they're so far back, and Steve Cohen has so much money. It's like, why give up any assets right now when we could just make our push in free agency? That's how I'd be feeling if I was on the Mets. So the only real contenders in the NL to get the trade done, I think, are the Giants and maybe the Diamondbacks. But if you're Arizona, it's like he's probably not going to stay there, but they have a good enough team that Ohtani could like put them on that push. Now we get to the AL. The Rays, I mean, come on. The Rays don't spend money. They're not trading for him. The Baltimore Orioles are an interesting one. They don't typically spend money, but it's a rumor that's been floating around. But again, Shohei Ohtani's not staying in Baltimore. This would be the definition of Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors. This is a hired gun for one season. And if you get it done, you get it done. You know, you look at Toronto, no. Boston, I don't think so. The Yankees, my team, they've been plummeting so far in the last 3 weeks that I almost think they're out of it. I think they pick up the phone and see what it looks like, and just because they're only 4 games back of the wild card, you know, there's still 2.5, 3 months left of baseball. Like, it's not impossible. They're only 8 games back. Judge will be coming back soon, but like, if you're the Yankees, you don't do that without some idea that he's willing to re-sign.
Facts.
And we look at the Central. I was on a podcast and somebody threw out the Guardians as kind of a hired gun thing. I don't think the Guardians, even with Shohei Ohtani, feel like World Series favorites. And like,
Nah.
if you're going to trade for him to be a hired gun, it's like you got to be a favorite. Like the Diamondbacks and the Orioles, two teams that he won't re-sign with. They feel like they become favorites though if they get him, at least top tier. I don't see the Guardians entering that. The Astros, please God, no. I don't think so. I've yet to hear a rumor about it. The Texas Rangers are interesting with DeGrom, done for the foreseeable future. They have a winning team. But I think the Seattle Mariners are the most interesting team. Stays on the West Coast. Was just there for the All-Star break. The connections with Ichiro in that organization. You have Julio Rodriguez. Everything lines up to that he would stay there. Their pitching rotation already has a case for the best in baseball. It gets even better. It's definitive at that point. The only flaw I see with it, and I don't know how heavy this is in baseball. I know it's super heavy in football and kind of middle of the pack in basketball. It's the same division. AL West, trading to AL West.
Mm-hmm.
And the Angels really get themselves behind sending Shohei Ohtani to the Mariners, who they're currently ahead of, and watch them climb by and pass him by. The only way I could do that is like if Ohtani has told you he's gone. If Ohtani has told you he's gone, fine. Like you got to get what you can get. But with Mike Trout missing all this time, it does not feel like Ohtani is going to be an Angel. To me, it feels like he's getting moved. I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't think I could. As a GM or owner, I mean, what a shitty spot to be in. It's like you have the best player in baseball, the greatest talent in the last 10, 15 years minimum.
Easy.
On your team. You're never going to get a fair pack. You're never going to feel like you got some. And especially because it's a 2.5 month rental, you are getting dimes on the dollar for this guy.
And because it's baseball, bro, like you have no idea how these prospects end up. It's not like basketball or football. Like this is a
and no team. It's not like Seattle's gonna be like, oh yeah, take Julio Rodriguez. Like nah, we want Julio and Shohei. Like, do you think he gets traded?
It's very tough. I go back and forth with it. But I think he does because I'm a believer, like you said, where there's smoke, there's fire, and that's true with anything, especially when it comes to trades and rumors and all that. And I just think it's gonna happen. So if it does happen, I think the top three that I could really see play out would be probably be the Mariners. 2, I think, would be the Orioles, and 1 for me would be the Giants.
Yeah, I think San Francisco's the
really
team to watch.
I really like.
They
the
were
Giants.
willing to spend money.
Exactly.
They're on the West Coast. A lot of reports say Ohtani wants to stay on the West Coast. I have an inclination that if he was to go to the East Coast, it would only be for one of the two huge New York big market teams. And maybe not even, right? Like, no matter where he goes, he's getting $500 million.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Cohen might throw him $700 million, and then like he might say, "Hey, wait a minute now," And again, I don't really know how he grew up, and like a lot of people, like my age to Ohtani's age, like 20 to 30, grew up with the Yankees as dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And that love of the Yankees, is that something that he has, or was he just big Ichiro? And Ichiro played for the Yankees.
I mean, you have Hideki too. I mean, he was a decent icon.
It's just, and like, what does a trade look like?
Yeah.
With a 2-month rental in mind, like, are you willing to give up your top 3 prospects? Like,
I think
because you're not going to get a guarantee, in my opinion. You're not going to get a guarantee from Ohtani, but you're also paying. Here's the thing: this is a guy who's been on the Angels his whole career, hasn't sniffed winning.
Mm-hmm.
You get him in New York, you get him in LA, in Seattle, wherever. You start winning games. This guy gets to a CS,
Hmm.
gets to a World Series, and just comes up short, but knows that it's all there. You have the ability to build that relationship with him before free agency starts. Maybe there's some loyalty to your team after that. But if
It's
you're
possible.
like, and this is my worry with the Yankees, you get Ohtani right now. You're like the worst offense in baseball. How much better do you get with one guy?
Yeah.
Pitching, obviously, it goes up, and the Yankees become a playoff team, and maybe they become a favorite if Judge comes back. But you're the Yankees. You trade for Ohtani. You ship out Jason Dominguez and Oswald Peraza. Two of your top three prospects. Not even Volpe, just two of the top three. And you guys get bounced in the wild card, and he walks. You just
That's
set
it.
yourself back
Mhm.
years.
Yep.
It's a huge risk for any team to take to trade for him, and that's almost why I either lean it's not going to happen because the GM of the Angels is going to feel like he's not getting anything close to the value, or we're going to see the trade package and be like, that's it. That's all it took. Why didn't my team pick up the phone? And I
Yeah.
don't know, but right now I'm leaning that it happens, but I couldn't do it if I was the Angels GM.
No, 100%, bro.
But gonna close out the show here with a new game, a little overrated, underrated fantasy football season coming up. Follow Nolan on Twitter. He's putting out a lot of Twitter threads, fantasy football content. If you're a big fantasy fan, check him out. But
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
play a little overrated, underrated here based on players' current ADP, average draft position. Pulling up the Sleeper app right now. We're not sponsored, but it's the best app out there when it comes to fantasy
Fact.
football, and I won't hear otherwise. Um, just gonna open this up here, and we're gonna go through about 5 or 6 guys, um, and you're gonna tell me if you think they're overrated or underrated at their current ADP. The draft that I have up is PPR settings,
Okay.
not super flex, just one quarterback. Travis Kelce at the 105. I'm real interested to hear your thoughts here because huge positional advantage, obviously, but at the 105.
It's kind of funny you mention this because I actually have the fifth pick in my main fantasy league, and I've been going back and forth with this. Um, I could totally understand why you would do it. I wouldn't hate it, but I think it's a little too high for me. I think Travis Kelsey in the late first is a little better.
So
So
overrated, overpriced.
I would say overpriced. Yeah.
All right. A guy that I just know you're chomping at the bits to talk about, so I'll let you do it. Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson, currently the 19th player off the board, puts him in the middle of the second round. How you feeling?
Underpriced, bro. I actually was in a space with Des Bryant a couple weeks ago, and he said that Garrett Wilson would be the top rated fantasy receiver end of the year. So bold take.
Yeah, old take, but one that I love since I have him in Dynasty.
Mm.
Okay. Calvin Ridley, 43 off the board, puts him back of the third round, early fourth round. How we feel about Calvin Ridley?
Underpriced. Ridley is a beast and a half. I do get a little worried just because Christian Kirk's there, Ingram. There's a lot of mouths to feed over there, but I think his skill set is I think he'll definitely have a big value come October, November.
Okay. Another Jets player here, Brees Hall, 26, currently puts him at the beginning of the third round, coming off the ACL injury. Some good reports about him. Straight line running 23 miles per hour today. However, the worry of the ACL with people who know medical stuff is it's about the cutting in and out and the zigging. So running in a straight line, and you could do it with a torn ACL.
Yeah, I'm gonna say overvalued. I think that injury stuff, I really hate taking that risk, especially that's a high price for me. Him and Javonte Williams, I think they're just two guys I'm probably gonna avoid unless they fall kind of decent.
Yeah, so this is more of a huge one for people who are drafting right now. Alvin Kamara, 73, puts him in the back of the sixth round. The felony charges dropped. Still potential punishment looming from the NFL. You don't know what that suspension is going to be, but a guy of Alvin Kamara's caliber in the back of the second or back of the sixth, excuse me, early seventh round. How we feel?
I say undervalued. I think the value's there. That huge news last week, I think, was a big bargain, and I think if he's there at that current price, I think that's a huge risk that you have to take. That's a decent price.
Yeah, and make sure you stack Kendre Miller with him, then you'll be
Yeah,
all
facts,
set.
facts.
Be all set.
And Jamal Williams.
Yeah, if you can get the backfields. I want to do a quarterback here. I don't want to pick too easy of a name. Here's maybe okay. Justin Fields, 45, early fourth round, mid fourth round. Currently, the sixth quarterback off the board, going ahead of guys like Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott.
So this is tough to answer just because I'm a huge believer in drafting quarterbacks later in the draft. I think you get so much more value in the other positions. But based off his value and um, I would go undervalued. I think based off his performance at the end of last year, I think, and DJ Moore, this new team coming into this year, I think he could definitely prove a lot of people wrong. I'm not the biggest Justin Fields guy, but fantasy wise, he's a dog. So undervalued.
Yeah, I've been liking my mock drafts where I've been taking tight end and quarterback early.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if I'm gonna like that when it comes to the real deal, but man, starting a draft with Bijan, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Hurts, and T.J. Hawkinson as the core pieces of a team.
Not bad.
I don't hate just figuring it out the rest. But that's all for today's show. Be sure, let us know all your thoughts on everything we talked about in the comments section. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Make sure you follow the College Kids on Twitter for all your sports bettings. Follow me and Nolan for just sports takes. Follow Nolan for fantasy. A lot of fantasy stuff coming on his Twitter. Check me out on YouTube if you love my takes, or if you hate them and want to go hate on me over there. No complaints there. But we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace out.